And welcome back to my Hawaiian kitchen. My name is Shannon, and today we're going to make a very festive pumpkin cranberry bread. With the holiday season rapidly coming upon us, this is a quick, easy bread that you can start now and freeze or keep until next year. We're going to get started by mixing our dry ingredients first. With a large bowl, you're going to mix 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of brown sugar. We use brown because it's a lot healthier than the white. And the flour that I used is 100% whole wheat. And cinnamon, it's one of the most important spices that you can put in your body. So I like lots of that. And then, as holiday tradition goes, we're using a nutmeg and a clove, all grounded up. And then your basics, your soda, your baking powder, and of course, a pinch of salt. And that all goes in there. These are our dry ingredients. We give them a quick stir around, and we're going to set it aside. Next, we're going to pull out and start our wet ingredients. And we start with 16 ounces of pumpkin. You can use fresh pumpkin or you can use canned pumpkin, and in my case I've used canned because here in Hawaii the pumpkins don't come out till almost Halloween. So if you want to get a jump start on a delicious bread, you have to use the canned, and it's just as good and actually easier to work with. Next, we use 3 eggs. I do not use the yolk. I do use only the whites. It's healthier, less in cholesterol. You can go to a Whole Foods type of grocery store and purchase non-dairy eggs if you wish, and they're just as good. And in here I use a little bit of vegetable oil, a canola oil, and we kind of mix this up a little bit. And then the next step is to mix our wet and dry together. The whisk is the best tool for doing both. So I used it on my dry and I used it on my wet. We're going to mix the two. And then the next best tool is your spatula. So we can scrape all that delicious pumpkin out of our bowl and not miss a mouthful. Now simply stir in the dry with the wet, and when we have that all done, we'll be ready to add our cranberries and our nuts of choice. Now that we have our dry and our wet mixed thoroughly together, and I've done it by hand, in between using a spatula and a whisk, you can put it into a KitchenAid or some type of mixer or hand mixer, but I prefer just to do it this way. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold in, and it's best to use fresh cranberries. Again, they're not in season here in Hawaii, so I use sugar-free, unsweetened, dried cranberries, and they work just the same. They're delicious. So I put in 3/4 cup of that, and then you can use any nut of your choice, but I prefer to use the walnuts. I think walnuts are the best in any breads that you're making. Make sure you buy raw, so there's no salt or anything added to them. And we just simply stir these into our mixture. And when that's all done, they'll be ready for the pan. Now that that's all mixed up, our next step is to put it in our pans. I have pre-greased our pans. I'm going to use 2 different sizes today just to show you. This recipe will fit 2 pans this size or 4 pans this size, and I've decided to split it up and use both of them. So once we get this all in our pans, we have our oven, which was preheated to 350 degrees. We're just going to pop it in the oven, and you can either go on to another recipe or find a good book and sit down, or if you're near a beach like I am, I just head down to the beach. So I'll see you guys in an hour. Aloha. Okay, we're going to check our bread now and see how far it's advanced. Sometimes, depending on the humidity or your oven or the altitude of where you live, temperatures can vary. So my best rule of thumb is at halfway point, I check them with a toothpick, and if my toothpick is dry, I pull them out. Ooh, these breads are good to go. Now that our delicious pumpkin cranberry bread has cooled enough, we sliced it, and I can't wait to serve it up. Here's fresh cream cheese if you'd like to add it to it. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm gonna dig in and have a piece right now myself, and I always like a little bit of cream cheese on the end of it. Well, I want to say mahalo for joining me again, and most of all, aloha.